So here's question 20. Sorry, I'm doing these out of order, but that's how it goes sometimes. Push pause for a minute so you can read the question for yourself and try it. Okay, so you pushed pause. You are ready to go through it with me. So we're looking for a manipulated variable here. Before we spend time looking at this actual question, let's remember what variables are. So a controlled variable, didn't mean to click on that. A controlled variable is something you don't change. Okay, that makes your results not work if you change too many things. Okay, so you need to one thing or 10 things to stay the same and only change one thing to see what happens. So what you change is called your manipulated variable. Okay, so that's you're changing the temperature, or you're changing the concentration, or you're changing the color, or whatever. Okay, so manipulated is what you change. Then the responding variable is what happens because you changed something. Okay, so if you add 10 drops of blue food coloring, that's going to be a lot darker than 5 drops of food coloring. Okay, so how much food coloring you add, that's your manipulated variable. Responding variable is how dark the substance is, and then your controlled variables would be what you're dissolving in, like water, okay, or having the same temperature, or whether you stir it or not, or yeah. Okay, so let's look at this question. So a group of students did a reaction. Great. Okay, they did 3 trials, and they put antacid, something like a Tums, into a beaker of water. Okay, so in all of these examples, they're using the same type and amount of antacid, same brand, same size tablet. Okay, but what's been changed is the temperature of water. Okay, so if we're looking at our variables, the type of antacid used, that's the same in all the trials, so that's controlled variable. The amount of antacid used, that's our controlled variable. They kept that the same for each reaction. The time it takes for the reaction to occur, that's your responding variable. Okay, that's what ends up happening because of the changes. Right, so our temperature at which the reaction occurs is our manipulated variable. That's what they changed in each one. Okay, and just for thought purposes, chances are your antacid's going to dissolve faster in warmer water, right? Okay, let's skip ahead to 25. Okay, so this actually goes great with that antacid example. So if you're adding a basic solution to an acidic solution, you are going to get a neutral substance. So what this question is talking about is how much of that base do you need to add to the acid for it to be neutral? Okay, so what volume of solution B, so you're pouring one solution into another solution. Okay, so your solution started at a pH of 2, so it started acidic. You poured in 10 milliliters of your basic solution, nothing happened, it didn't neutralize. Okay, it's still acidic. You add another 10 milliliters, and now it's starting to neutralize a little bit. It's less acidic, it's pH of 4, so maybe you have a lake that's too acidic and you're adding limestone or whatever to make it less acidic. And then you add a little bit more. Oh, there's pH of 7 on our graph. Okay, so about 25-ish is how many milliliters we're going to add till we get a neutral substance. Then after that, you just keep adding more base, okay, more bleach, whatever it is, and you're just going to end up with a very basic solution. So our pH of our solution that we were using to dilute solution A is 12, right? So that's quite a strong base. So let's see if that number's on our list. Yep, there we go, first one. Okay, 15A. So at 25 milliliters, oops, I said it wrong. Okay, 25 milliliters is how much you need to neutralize the solution. Okay, at 15, still acidic. At 35, super basic. 45, super basic. Okay, so 25, the answer is B. And if you do need the answer key, they're at the very bottom of these things. Okay, you can check them all on your own time.